Hello, 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 hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. There you go. Hey, guys. My name is Dan Duran, and I'm the host here in the Tech Lounge. We discuss topics related to business, technology, cybersecurity, and today we're going to be talking about resilience and leadership, but not just leadership. This show is going to be really good for pretty much everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. Just
Talk
remember,
about it. Go ahead, Dan. Just remember, I cut you off. Go ahead.
no. No worries, no worries. Just remember, we stream live and every Friday at 12 o'clock and on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I'm sorry, but I'm managing so many things at the same time right now. So you can see that the lower halves are going a little bit off sync. And that's
the
because we
reason.
don't have our producer. It's just
There you go.
Andrew Somerton and myself, and just you can tell the story. What happened with Gladstone in the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Talking about resilience and advancing and trying to deal with things that come up. So literally 2 minutes before, our producer and our friend and our colleague Gladstone, he, as you guys all know and familiar with, he had an alarm in his building, a fire alarm, all the fire trucks, the supervisor came in, etc. So he literally says, "Oh no, it's okay." We're like, "No, you better get out of your building."
Exactly.
So he's out of his building, making sure everything's okay. Hopefully he'll join us back if there's no problems, but we wish him well. And again, we have to overcome obstacles, and that's an obstacle that we're overcoming right now with Dan having to work the buttons, etc.
Exactly. There you go. Where is it? I got so many dials today. It's crazy. So please make sure you follow us using the hashtag Dan Duran and join us every Friday now. Sit back and relax. This is the Tech Lounge. I have my co-host extraordinaires, Andrew Somerton, the Rock of Rhino in the house. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
I'm good, Dan. How are you, buddy? I don't know. We got to change up that intro. I don't know. I'm not sure about the Rock. I think our team's the Rock. I'm just a big part of the process.
Oh yeah. Okay. So today, resilience. Why are we talking about resilience, Andrew? Let us know.
You know, resilience is a huge part of leadership. It's a huge part of it as being an individual. And we talk about technology, we talk about cybersecurity, and we're talking about business. And resilience really speaks volumes to helping your business grow, helping you as an individual grow. We all of us, doesn't matter where you are and what stage of your life, doesn't matter if it's personal, doesn't matter if it's business. We all have obstacles we have to overcome. And how you do that, we all are different. And you have to overcome those with a positive attitude, with insight, with support, different trials and tribulations that are going to overcome. So we wanted to talk about that today because it's so important. And it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur leading a company of 2 people or 200,000 people or 200 people, or you're talking about an individual just trying to, raise your family right or have a great relationship. It's all about resilience. It's all about overcoming obstacles. And hopefully today we shed a little light from our personal experiences, from experiences out there in the world. And hopefully we, everybody here gets a lot out of it. So we look forward to interaction with the team, with everybody as well, our audience.
Yes, it's going to be a great show, and we have some familiar people on the line here. Diego says, "What's up? Who's up?" I remember that commercial.
Remember that? Yeah, that was. Yeah.
We also have Tamara saying, "Hi guys, hi guys,
Tamara.
Friday!" I like the exclamation marks.
Absolutely, we missed you, Tamara. Tamara was on our show last week. If you weren't here, and she was incredible. So thanks for joining, Tamara.
We have Oscar Garrido. He says, "Hello guys, happy Friday." Hello, Oscar. Aura Rosana Calle Castrillon says, hello. Oh, look who's here.
Sean's here. Greetings and salutations.
Sean.
Nice. Hey, Sean, how are you, buddy?
Greetings and salutations. That's what he says.
Yeah. Great to see you.
Adrian says hi. Kai says hello. Gabriela says hello, happy Friday. Lots of people in here. We have Sonia.
Oh
Hey
yeah.
guys, happy Friday.
Thank Giz is here too. I saw. I think if I remember, if
We
I can see
have
correctly.
Eduardo in Eduardo saying something. You got this elbow cough.
Look,
You got
you
this.
got this.
We have Elizabeth saying hi. And Shangiz. Hello, Shangiz. Happy Friday. Hey
Happy Friday.
guys, he says.
We missed you last Friday. We I was looking for you. We missed you. So hopefully everything was well.
Yes. Tamara says, thanks, guys. Loved being in the show. Yeah, we loved having you on the show as well. So, okay, let's get on with the show. I have a couple of clips, and then just to give it a little more of an inspirational feel to the show, I'm going to show you this. I love inspirational videos and motivational
Absolutely,
videos.
for sure.
I think they're really uplifting. So here's one video. We're going to start with this, some motivational video, and then just going to play half of it, but it's pretty good.
Perfect.
Let's see if it gets us into the mood.
And please comment, everybody. Share questions.
You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1, and ding, 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 saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's going to just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me. Many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. The world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me. It's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day.
Wow. What do you think about that video?
So intense and so relevant. And yeah, it's so motivating.
Yeah. And we were talking about this, right? So life, you can't expect life to be easy breezy, right? And just go through life like nothing. Everybody has challenges, everybody has setbacks, and the key is to be able to manage those setbacks, how to act when you fall down, how to get up, right? So yeah, look at that.
Let's see what yeah.
Changiz says champions aren't made in the gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside of them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have last minute stamina. They have to be a little faster. They have to have the skills and the will. But they must, and it gets cut out because it's a long comment, but they must be stronger than the skill. That's from
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the key, right? So it is impressive, and like everybody has that desire to be resilient, and everybody it has different levels of resiliency in them. And so Andrew, you were talking about this, you were talking about how you were able to encounter resilience in your business after failing, like miserably in your past business life, and then just get up and continue to do it. Maybe you can tell us a little story about what happened to you. What's
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, to your point, Dan, I think everybody has had, really, really life-changing situations or circumstances. And I think it's the support and the why factor to that video. Why do you get back up? Why do you want to persevere? Why do you want to move forward? I had a company several years ago, and I gave up. I had a very, very good job. I was in a management role with a national newspaper. I'd been there for over 10 years, very comfortable, very secure, and I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and it's something I always wanted to do, and I always dabbled in it. And I left the security, and I jumped in with both feet. My wife jumped in as well. So we were all in, and all the money came from this little business, and we were doing okay. We lived on credit cards for a while. We borrowed money. We went without. We lived in a beautiful, beautiful home, a very, very beautiful 4,000 square foot, 6 bedroom, 5 bathroom, beautiful home. Had an incredible lifestyle. And again, we risked all our comforts to this entrepreneurial mindset of, grandeur and all the things that come with it. And 2 years in, we're partnering with this organization. I won't speak badly about anybody. Things were looking incredible. We had almost $100 million contract sitting in front of us to go, North American wide with our service. And one of our partners called us from Texas and said, congratulations, you guys, this is incredible. We're going national with your program. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I knew nothing about it. And we were kind of, it was kind of like that knockout punch. But instead, he felt like we didn't get up.
yeah? So
They took our business and they went to somebody else. And we ended up having to basically close shop. I ended up selling my house, and it was the why factor. We had 2 young kids. No, not young, but basically still 2 kids. And we had to get back up. And after we sold our house and everything else, we had to continue to move forward. And it was a challenge, and it was hard to get through, but we managed to do it with support and vision and passion. But that was just one example. I have many, but that was one. There's no question.
So basically your business, they pulled the rug under your feet, right?
100.
And
So much. It was,
you were down in the negative,
yeah.
and starting from scratch, it's not an easy an easy thing to do, right? So kudos to you on that. And on the same token, I was talking about how everybody has the capacity of being resilient, and there are certain things that you need to do to become more resilient. And the funny thing is that in leadership, resilient leaders make resilient teams. And that's the key. If you don't have resilience as a leader, your entire company, your entire team is not going to have resilience. So it's something that everybody has the capacity and you can learn. So we have 7 pro tips or power tips on how to become resilient, and we're going to go through those in a bit, probably in a few minutes. But so stick around on this topic. So I want to show you this video, and this is a really cool video. And I love this guy. I don't know if you guys have watched Jordan Peterson, but I think
he's incredible.
the guy is extraordinary. The guy is it's an amazing speaker, and he's very motivational. And what he says is a lot of the stuff that he says is completely 100% truth. So let's watch this video.
There's a limit to your strength, but God only knows to some degree what that limit is. People can be unbelievably tough. And I think it's even the more admirable for human beings to be tough, because we're so conscious of how we can be hurt. And we're so conscious of what that hurt can lead to. You can have your family taken away from you, and you can be destroyed. And the fact that you can be courageous in the face of that at all is something that is absolutely unbelievable, right? And people deserve a lot more credit, I think, than people give themselves. Because
Okay, what do you think about that comment? People always they deserve more credit than they're actually given, or themselves they give themselves, right? And
you know what?
everybody does this.
I think that this is bang on. I was saying this to you earlier. We have these pillars in our world, in our community, in our entertainment, public speakers, all these successful business owners, and they've gone through trials and tribulations, a lot of them, to get to where they are. but there are so many people out there that aren't the pillar, aren't the, the shining spotlight of these incredible businesses or entertainers that, have overcome such obstacles to continue a good quality life and to, learn and grow and share their experiences. And I think you're bang on, and he's bang on with that. You need to give yourself credit. You don't have to be making millions and millions of dollars or having a multi-million-dollar business or be driving a Lamborghini or any of these things to be proud of things that you've overcome. And you do have to give yourself credit, because even little
Yes.
wins for anybody is incredibly valuable to become who you are and what strengthens your core as a human being.
Exactly. And the key is that sometimes we are our worst enemies, man.
For sure.
Yeah. So, like in my case, for example, I'm extremely detail oriented. And sometimes too much of like perfectionist to the core, that I see imperfections on things that I do personally or at work or in different situations, and that is actually detrimental for myself, because other people won't see those, right? They see, I don't see the big picture the way it is, and I get stuck on the details, and then I don't produce. There's no results because it is kind of like a brain block. And I think a lot of people have this problem, that they criticize themselves so much to the point that you become paralyzed, right?
It's so funny. It's true. It's a mental capacity. I challenge you guys out there one day. If you're wear a blue sock and a black sock all day long, you're going to be thinking to yourself, to your point, Dan, oh my goodness, everybody's staring at my sock, my blue sock, my black sock, every single, and I can guarantee you, and I won't, I mean, not guarantee, but no one will even notice. But in your head, that's all you're focusing
Yeah.
on. And so it's funny because it's perception, right? I always say that I never want to be 100%. I never want our team to be 100%. I never want perfection. I always want to be striving and moving forward, because I think what happens is with perfection, again, you'll never hit it ever. And it'll actually bog you down and hurt you in the long run, either individually or as a company. And that's something that I don't think you should be doing. I think we should be focusing on the quality and where you
Yes.
are, and then continuing to move forward step by step. And by the way, guys, Gladstone, obviously he's back. Fortunately,
Woohoo! Yeah,
there's no
Gladstone.
fire. So welcome back, Gladstone. Happy to
All
have you.
right.
And Gladstone overcame that obstacle. So welcome back, buddy.
Yes. And Tamara says little wins lead up to big wins. Celebrate every step forward, and that's very important, very wise comment from Tamara. The thing is, like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? That's that's the key. So let's continue watching this video. I think it's a really good video, and the last part of this video is great. So he talks about how, like, we tend to criticize ourselves more than we should, and we should give credit to ourselves, right?
Because the fact that we can be honorable under conditions of life and death, right, of suffering, that's a testament to the human spirit. And there's a profound anti-human ethos, I think, that pervades our culture, that considers human beings cancers on the planet, something like that, and that there should be less of us. It's the same spirit that motivated the guy who wrote the book about it better to have never been. And it's like, I don't see it that way, I mean, I think people do pretty well for having their leg caught in a bear trap and their head caught in a vice. They're actually doing pretty well, because life is really hard. And the fact that we're not absolutely brutal and murderous all the time is really something remarkable, given what we actually have to contend with, that we can go out of our way to be honest and generous and altruistic and to care for each other under unbelievably dire circumstances, and to act nobly sometimes under the most trying conditions. In Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, he tells story after story of people who acted abysmally, but also people who, under the worst threats imaginable, never sacrificed their character. And reading about that is really...
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So it like, we're not as bad as we think we are, and I think this is a global thing. People say that, like, we are cancers in society and in this world, but if it was like that, then we'll be much, much worse than what we are right now, right?
For sure. And I think to his point, I think there's a lot more good and a lot more good people and a lot more strong people in the world than negative. And unfortunately, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Unfortunately,
Yes.
sometimes those negative people take the spotlights away from all the incredible, wonderful things that are happening out there. So you look at the news, there's more negativity news out there than there is positive, right? And so I agree. I mean, with all the adversities and all the challenges and tribulations so many people go through, we still
Yes.
seem to have a smile on our face. We still seem to motivate and want to give back and help people. It doesn't matter what culture, doesn't matter where you are in the world. We're all the same. We're all human beings. And if we're good people, you're good people. And if you're not, you're not. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Um,
So I want to ask you a question, guys. So what do you think are the steps that you have to take, or some of the tips that you personally do to become more resilient, to be able to overcome stress, overcome setbacks, and be able to get up on your feet? Keep an upper stiff lip, as people say. What are the things that you guys do
what's your
to
why
be able
factor?
to continue living in this harsh life, because life is not easy, right? We all
Well,
know,
and
right?
I mean, every single person on the planet, literally, I mean, it doesn't matter where you are, every single person on the planet just went through resilience over the last 2 years of being with this pandemic. I mean, and we won't even get down the pandemic scenario because we've all gone through it. But that's something we all had to overcome. We all had to adjust to. We all had to overcome, and then basically
Yes.
move past. And that's one small thing that we globally did. But as an individual, I agree, Dan. What's your why factor, other guys? What keeps you going every day? What keeps you motivated?
Yes.
Another thing I want to talk about too, Dan, while we're waiting for some of those is I think social media has glorified becoming an entrepreneur and working for yourself and all that kind of stuff, because it is crazy. Every person out there wants to be driving these fancy cars, living in big homes, having all
Yeah.
kinds of money. And let me tell you, I'll tell you right now, becoming an entrepreneur and leading an organization, or taking the responsibility on to make sure that you have an incredible company, incredible team success, is hard work. And
Yes.
it takes the collaboration of the team and the company to be successful. An entrepreneur takes an awful lot of risks and has to jump through an awful lot of hoops, and always has to have a smile on their face no matter how bad things get. But working for an organization and having to overcome your own resilience, I mean, it's not, you don't have to become an entrepreneur to have incredible success. As a matter of fact, it's very, very difficult sometimes to have that. And so I just want to shed a little light on that. It is wonderful to be an entrepreneur. It is wonderful to go after your dreams. And I'm never saying don't, but
Mhm.
it's not all, roses and successes. It's work, it's challenge. And you have to overcome an awful lot of obstacles you never saw coming, an awful lot of punches you had to get up from,
Yeah.
as well as motivating your team, your staff, overseeing the vision of the long term, the future. Um,
Yes.
it's not easy. That's all I'm kind of basically saying. And the support of your team, the transparency, the motivation, the insight, like I said, collaboration is what helps a company be successful, not just one individual. I think it's the leadership guiding the success of the team, and the team being receptive to that, and having leaders on your team that help you grow. And I think that's really, really critical.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So talking about the destination and the journey. So let's watch this video, and this is from Learning Redefine. It's a really good channel on YouTube that I found. So kudos to this guy for producing this amazing videos, and it talks about the obstacle on the road. So
Okay.
let's watch this.
Imagine walking along a road and a huge rock blocks your way. You can't go around it, and it's too big to climb over. You're going to have to find another way. Ryan Holiday, in his book, The Obstacle is the Way, tells us that obstacles aren't actually the problem. It's our belief that the path won't have any obstacles that's incorrect. The rock was always going to be there. Obstacles are just part of the journey. In life,
So what do you think about that? Obstacles are part of the journey.
Absolutely. And every single person feels it. And
Yes.
I've always taught my kids, and you said it earlier, the destination isn't what's important. It's the journey, what's important. But the journey comes with obstacles. And that actually is what defines you as a person, how you overcome those,
Yeah.
how you adjust to them, how you grow from them. how you get beyond them. That's what strengthens you and strengthens your core as a person. And then how does it help you to get over future obstacles?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, do we have anybody there? Yes, Tamara. She says, "I think gratitude is big. Reminding myself of what I have, especially during struggles, moves me to continue to strive for personal greatness." Absolutely. Those little reminders, those affirmations. Yes, I am worthy of this. I can do this. I am thankful. Thankfulness every day. And even not just thinking about it, but mentioning and, like being, I know it looks awkward being in front of a mirror mentioning or doing affirmations, but that helps quite a bit because you're sending messages to your subconscious, right? And you're telling your subconscious that things are okay despite of what's going on in your life. Um, People sometimes don't give credits to themselves for the accomplishments that they have, and even if these accomplishments are little, I have a roof over my head, I have shoes to wear, I have a car or two cars on the parked on the driveway. Those are like they're even though they're basic, and then they're enough to make us feel okay and be out of danger, right? And that's the key. I think the Tamara's comment is very, very good. What else do we have in there? Diego says life is about how each one of us passes through those obstacles. Yes, the obstacle is always going to be there, guys. It's always going to be there. The key is how do you overcome it?
And sharing your obstacles and your experiences with friends, family, loved ones. Don't be scared. All because, again, like I said earlier, you don't have to be a multimillionaire or run some big multi-successful business to have valuable information to share with people. We've all overcome obstacles, and your insight is going to guide, and help other people. And I always
Yes.
say, I've always said, you listen to everybody and take their advice and apply what makes you a better person, because I don't want to take all of one person's advice, then I become them. But if I take all of my experiences and all the things that people share with me, because that's their most valuable commodity is their time. And if they're going to share with me their most valuable commodity, I'm going to learn from it and hopefully grow from it. And I'm going to do the
Yes.
same to others and pass it on.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember how I was talking about the capacity to be resilient, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of in our genes, right? It's passed down in our families from generation to generation. There's a lot of influence, but the other part is the way we are raised, right? So the way we grow up and the way we become resilient at a very early age. And this is what the experts say about this. This is from the Center of Developing this is the Center of Developing a Child at Harvard University. So this is a study that was carried out, and let's take a look.
Science tells us that experience moves the fulcrum, for better or for worse.
Even though we are born with genes, genes will respond differently to certain environmental situations as opposed to others.
What the genes are actually doing are turning up or turning down the expression of chemicals in circuits in the brain and the circuitry in the entire body that govern our responses to stress, to anxiety, to depressive symptoms.
When positive experiences accumulate and children learn coping skills that help them to manage stress, the fulcrum can slide, so the scale tilts toward positive outcomes more easily. That's what resilience is all about.
There's always an adult, or more than one adult, who is key to providing that relationship that helps to build resilience.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about guidance and leadership. And I mean, everybody thinks about leadership in business and being a CTO or a CTO or an owner or a president or whatever that is. Leadership starts from your parents or your friends, your even your spouse, not your spouse, but your brother or sister. How and what they educate you and how you It doesn't define you as a person, but it certainly builds a foundation. I mean, I've known a lot of people who were raised in a very poor environment,
Yeah.
maybe not the best parents, and they became very, very successful, incredible people. But in general, in the masses, you take what you learn, and that carries with you.
Yes.
And so I think leadership starts from day one. There's no
So
question.
yeah, and you know, what do you think about? Okay, so I was talking to my friends, and they were telling me, oh yeah, this generation is called the crystal generation. You know why it's called the crystal generation?
I'm not sure why, because it'll break. I'm not
Because you
sure.
touch them and they break.
Right.
Like we live in a generation where, you know, like if we talk about the millennials, and now we had the generation, what is it, the Z
Gen X and Z.
generation, Gen
Yeah.
Z, and the their parents tend to really be, you know, like a helicopter parents, right?
Helicopter. Yeah.
So helicopter parents that they don't like their kids, they don't put the kids in risk, or they don't give them a way to be able to cope themselves with obstacles, even if they're small. They're afraid to, you know, like to walk to, or to send the kids to school. For example, our kids, they walk to school, and it's a 20-minute and it's a very safe walk to school. But some parents, they're, no way, man, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to drive them there, or whatever. And they don't give a little bit of leeway for the kids to be able to develop that resiliency,
You know,
right?
it's funny. I saw something. I don't know if it was on a tick. I don't know. It was on social media somewhere. They said children learn when they're doing dangerous things safely,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And parents need to let them do those things. Parents need to let them grow as individuals for sure, but with that guidance, there's no question.
Yeah, and parents nowadays, because we have social media, a lot of social media, they let the kids do whatever they want on social media and on the internet, and they all have devices. Like my kids, they all have, you know, one or two devices each, and they're restricted, right? So we have parental controls. We have, you know, they only have certain. There are allotted times, and we do this all technologically through the devices. But some other parents out there, they just they think that it's okay to let your kids be on social media as opposed to being outside. And these kids, man, they just they don't be, they just watch. You know what, I gotta tell you something, man. Watching a kid watching somebody else play a game, that's crazy. I mean, when we were kids, I would spend a lot of time in the arcades playing myself, right, and playing video games. But now kids nowadays, what they do is they watch YouTube channels where the
Watch them
people
play.
in the YouTube are actually playing the game.
It's crazy.
So it's like they don't even take that minimal risks. And Tamara says, we need obstacles. My mama always told me uh, to look at the obstacle in the way, not as a stumbling block, but as a stepping stone.
Nice set. Oh, well said.
Yes, use it to step up even higher.
You know what? I think that's a great comment, Tamara. And you know what? I want to shout out a kudos to our team and Gladstone. You know, he's on the. This is the Gladstone. It's to our developers. You know, we our BWire Technology division. We deal with clients all the time, incredible clients, and we're very proud of the history we have with our clients. But some projects and interactions take longer than need be. Some of the challenges we have to overcome. You know, some of the things we have to learn from can be very frustrating. And you know,
Yes.
everybody thinks the grass is greener, right? So, but instead of those hard obstacles that they have to overcome, as people who help organize and run our company, they learn from that, do a vision and a focus group after the event, and then they grow to make themselves better, stronger, and to implement better procedures. And our team does that on their own. And that just talks about resilience and learning and growing, and not saying, oh, I had a really frustrating time this week or next week, I'm quitting, I'm going to somewhere else because the grass is greener. Well, the grass isn't. I mean, I always use the analogy, you can go to the greener grass, but if you keep walking on it and running on it and chewing it up, it's eventually going to die too, right? You always have to take care of it, water it, protect it. The
Yes.
reality of it is, if you grow from the experiences, it's going to make you a stronger person, and it doesn't matter where
Exactly.
you are in life.
Exactly. So, all right. So now what I have is a couple of things. That's the first one is going to be what are the signs that you're struggling with resilience? Okay. So what are the main signs? Um, and the second part, which we're going to be covering, is the pro tips on how to become resilient. I think they're
Cool.
pretty good. And I think you, Andrew, you haven't seen this. You're going to relate
No.
to many of these because
Okay,
I
perfect.
do. I looked them up on the from on Forbes, for example, the articles I was reading. And I'm like, hey, these are things that I actually do in everyday life. So it was
Nice.
very interesting to see myself in there. So these are some of the challenges or the struggle with for people that do not possess resilient, or their resilient levels are very low. So the first one is they have difficulty saying no to requests. So you're becoming a yes man for everything, and this is very imperative on on business relationships with clients. It's hard to say no to clients when they push and push and push. It's really hard to actually say, you know what, okay, let's just do this. But sometimes you gotta step up and you say, no is no, and we need to prioritize. We need to do other things first, and then let's talk about that, right? So yeah, so difficult time saying no to requests. So you keep on stressing about things that happen. So you have a conversation or some sort of you have a conflict, and you keep on ruminating about it for a long time, and this just stresses you out. When a conversation is done and a decision is made, done, move on. You don't have to come back and feel stress about it. Over Being overcommitted, right? So if being overcommitted, you're just not aware that you're committing your resources, your time, your sweat and tears on a lot of things, because again, you can't say no, right? It's hard. It's hard to say no. We have you work in a highly competitive culture and sacrifice periodic reflection for constant action. So there's no stopping time. You don't stop to like just relax or take a breather, like and recuperate, or even have some sort of lessons learned when something happens. We just go all the time.
I
And
think
this,
that's a really I think that's a really good one, right? It's to Tamara's point too. Celebrate little wins. Take time for yourself. Know when to say no and when to stop, so you can recoup and grow and move forward. So no, it's a good one for sure.
yes, yeah. So how about this one here? You sacrifice empathy for toughness. This happens a lot in business sometimes. You have employees that they're not doing things, and they're just, okay, let's say it in plain English, lazy, right? And they barely put any effort to work, and you keep on empathizing with that and never taking action. That is a no-no, right? And it happens quite a bit, right? So sometimes you gotta be a bit more tough, right?
Well, and that's it goes to another thing too. A lot of people will misconstrued kindness for weakness, right? Where because you're kind doesn't mean you're not strong, and that's another thing that people take for granted
Yes.
sometimes.
How about your self-reliance keeps you from trusting others? I mean, there's a lot of capable people. Your
You
employees are capable. You got to
if you
trust them.
if you don't, you're going to fail. You have to empower people to work with you, and you have to grow together. It's all about collaboration and trust. You know what? If you surround yourself with amazing people and you tell everybody what to do, and you guide them and they have to do what you say, and you don't trust what they're going to do, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
You have to take pride and trust and confidence in the people you surround yourself with,
Yeah.
because it's so important.
Absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes it's easier. It's easier, to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. Don't worry about it. I'll do it. And then you do the work, you do the stuff. And this happens to everybody, as opposed to saying, okay, I can do it, but I can mentor you. I can show you how to do it. So the next time you can help out, or you can learn this skill. And at the end, you're going to be able to do it yourself, because you say this all the time, Andrew. You say it's what is the saying about the fish? It's you
Oh,
give
yeah, I'll teach you.
somebody.
If I give you a fish, what is it? I teach. What is it? If I teach you to fish, you'll have fish forever. I give you a fish, you'll eat for a day, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So sometimes it's good to mentor people, to be able to be a leader and show people the ropes, and then as opposed to like having self-reliance and keeping and not trusting people, right? And you only rely on existing strengths, so you fail to develop new skills. I mean, this is
You
this is
know,
very important.
no, it's so important. And you know what? It's funny. Talk about business and leadership. We empower, and again, I want to toot our team's horn. We empower our team to constantly be learning. We're in the tech space, and we as a company, we help and we contribute, and we even pay sometimes for schooling, etc. Whether that person stays with us for the next 5, 8, 10 years, or they take that skill set and they go somewhere else, we want to empower them to be successful for themselves, for them to
Yes.
grow, to become leaders. And we want obviously the collaboration and the our culture for people to stay with us, but we're not going to hinder them. We want to make sure everybody is continually learning and enhancing their skill set for themselves personally to take wherever they go, whether they stay with us or they go on to new other opportunities.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So always learn new skills. That's
For
something
sure.
that we should be doing constantly, right? So we also have power tips. We have 7 power tips that we want to share with you, in that how to improve resiliency in a leadership position, but not just in a leadership position, but personally, what you can do right
Right.
now to be able to become more resilient. Let's
Nice.
hit it, Gladstone. Number one: improve self awareness. And what I mean by improving self awareness, and these are not mine, these are from an article that I read from Forbes, is it's basically paying attention to your body's response to stress. Sometimes people don't notice that they're stressed out, and you need to be more self-aware, right? So as soon as you're hit by stress, you need to calm down, you need to do something else, you need to focus your mind on, let's say, playing an instrument, going for a walk, or going to exercising, and stepping away from that stressful situation. But the first thing is you need to be self-aware, you need to be aware that that's happening to you, right? So the body's response, that's key, to be self-aware of the body's response, right?
Yeah.
Number two: enhance focus and discipline. Yes. So you also, I mean, you're full of sayings, Andrew, and you say something about planning. What is you
If you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail.
if you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail. Absolutely. So this is key, right? So you have to have some sort of planning going on in your life every day, taking notes, making plans, long-term plans, medium-term plans, and short-term plans, like daily plans, right? So if you just wake up in the morning and go like, well, I got these things that I'm going to do, let's put them in writing so you can actually do the checklist, after you
Well,
complete a task. Boom, done, 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 your
It's
to-dos.
it's like a roadmap to success. It doesn't matter what the success is. We're not talking financial. We're not talking. It's a roadmap to success for yourself personally, and that is basically because as obstacles, this shows about obstacles and overcoming obstacles. As you have your focus and your discipline, but obstacles are going to happen. So if you have it written down and you have small goals and small achievement and small wins and you celebrate those, when an obstacle comes back, it's very easy to basically get back on track, to keep
Yes.
going, to keep moving forward, right? But if you don't have that, you don't have that discipline and focus, and you hit that obstacle, it's going to shut you down. And so it's
Yes.
really, really important to do that.
Yeah. Out there, guys, if you have other, like tips or, like steps that you do
Yeah.
every day to become more resilient, that by all means put them on the chat, and then we'll display them online on our channel. We'll discuss them. Yeah. What, maybe you have some sort of like crazy way of overcoming, challenges or becoming more resilient that you do every day. Just put them on the chat, and then we'll display them. Number three. This one is super critical, and this is something that I do every day. Develop wellness rituals. Is there anything that you do in a regular basis, Andrew, that helps you stay well?
You know what? I've always been an athlete my whole life, and as I got older, it certainly went by the wayside a lot. You got family, friends, you got kids, you have everything. It's like a push, push, push,
No
push,
pun
push.
intended.
But we
Me
I
too.
started back to doing kickboxing on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. 7 a.m. before I start the day. And it's an incredible way to wake up and feel bright and feel refreshed. You have that motivation from your team, the people around you, your lead, the actual person who's guiding us, our coach. And it just feels good. And again, bike riding, etc. Nothing on a consistent basis that I say that I do this all the time anymore, other than the kickboxing on
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
I'm very ritualistic,
Yeah, you
and
are.
what I do every day, I listen to affirmations channels. I have a few YouTube channels that I signed up to, so I read affirmations. And basically, affirmations is like I am positive. And it's just like a really calming music, and they all they say is just affirmations. And I put on headphones. I go to sleep, and with the headphones on, listening to affirmations, and then I wake up probably an hour later. I take off my headphones and I just continue to sleep. So I do that very regularly. What are the things that I do? I put incense here. I have a little thing with
Oh,
incense, and
dude.
sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes we're in a meeting with a client, and then they see the smoke and stuff, and they're like, are you smoking? What's going on in there? I know, it's just I have incense. So I like incense. I like binaural beats and kind of like calming music and stuff. It makes me relax a lot. And then the exercising part also, I really like going to the gym, and well, like now I'm going to the gym. I had a fracture on my clavicle, and that set me up for a year.
Well,
But
well, you know what, Dan?
um,
Dan, I'm going to cut you off there because I want that's a great example. So Dan had this major obstacle, and he had this. He was bike riding, and he broke his collar or his collarbone. He had to wait 6 months or 8 months, and it didn't heal. He had to go back and have it rebroken, and it had it fixed. And you mentally went through a tough time because you
yes,
couldn't be physical. And actually, probably not too long ago, you and I had a conversation about you being not as motivated, and you made a conscious decision after to go back to the gym and start exercising, start riding your bike because now you're healed. And tell
yeah.
me, do you not feel, and again, this is
Oh,
your own personal journey, but do you not feel 100 times better emotionally, mentally, physically because you're doing that now?
yeah, oh, absolutely, 100%. And we become very complacent, right? And in my case, I become lazy. I put on the pounds, I eat too much, a little too much, and then I'm always lethargic. I'm always kind of like, like on the couch, and being a couch potato, eating snacks and stuff like that. And as soon as I start exercising, going to the gym, going out, starting doing my bike runs again, I feel the energy, and you feel so good that you want to eat healthy. So
Exactly.
you start shifting your rituals, and the way you you have your food intake, and you exercise, right? So I used to we used to do with my wife 100 kilometers rides on our bikes, going city to city. And then after this happened, it was tough. It was tough, but now I'm back on track, man.
Well,
That's
and,
it's
and
amazing.
to this conversation, Dan, and I love that journey because I mean we're talking about leadership, we're talking resilience, we're talking about overcoming obstacles in this show.
Yes.
Tell me, I mean, I guess maybe just share your mindset when it comes to leading the team and the passion and the positivity that changes when you do that. Because
Yes.
I'm a firm believer positivity breeds positivity, negativity breeds negative. And if you're negative, you're going to come across that way. And if you're positive, you're going to, and again, that's how I feel. Did you notice that differently?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. It reflects, right? So as a leader in our team, in our case, if we are positive, we're motivational, we are pumped up, we are full of energy, it really shows, and it is contagious. Like, our people
great point.
become resilient, and become also we have a very good team. But if we're
Incredible.
down on the dumps, then the whole team is down on the dumps. So we are a reflection of our team, right? So, for
That's
good or
true.
for worse.
And we and you know what, that said, when our team has an obstacle as an individuals, whether it be personal, family, whether it be sickness, whether it be any of these things, we try and lift each other up and motivate
Yes,
as much and be
absolutely.
there for them. And I think it's really important. It's our responsibility as a family, as a friend, as a business community. We consider our business as a family.
Yeah,
If somebody on our team hurts, we hurt for them, and we try to motivate to bring them up. And I think it's really important to be there for people,
yeah,
your colleagues or you as leaders. I think it's
yeah.
so important.
We have several comments out there. So,
Yeah,
Gladstone, thanks for letting us know. If you can put them on the screen, let's see what people say.
yeah, absolutely.
Oscar Garrido says, read Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog. I never heard of
Perfect.
that book, but Brian Tracy
Me
is
neither.
really cool. I
Eat
like
that
Brian
frog.
Tracy.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna write that down right now. Eat that frog.
There you go. Eat that frog. Diego says the problem with being a leader is that you have the duty of making rude decisions. Rude decisions.
I don't know if rude's the right word or not, but you know what?
Tough. He probably meant tough decisions.
Tough
Yeah,
decisions. Exactly. I think
sometimes.
he made tough. You know what? I think decisions. I think depending on the position you're in as an organization and as a leader, I think it's you make an educated decision that's going to best suit the company and the team and your clients. And sometimes as an individual, you may take it personally when maybe the leader, the manager, the person in charge of the department is making a collaborative decision for the best of the well-being. And unfortunately, sometimes a decision can be taken as an individual where really it's and that's why collaboration, communication, transparency, honesty are all key leadership roles, especially more now than ever. Because I think if you lead fake and you're not true, and you don't guide and build collaboration, you're going to build a lack of trust. And I think transparency, trust, and everything else makes those decisions easier, Diego. That's my opinion. But you're right. Sometimes it can be hard. There's no question.
Yes. Oscar Guzman. Oscar is actually a friend of mine. Hey, Oscar, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while, so we should just sync up. He says, when planning, start with an end in sight, as it helps put things into perspective.
Love it.
Especially when you're deep in what seems to be a never ending task.
I love that.
Yes. Start with an end in mind.
Exactly. Achievable goals along the way and then as you hit those little goals, it's getting closer to the ultimate goal. I love it. Great analogy, Oscar.
Yes. What else do we have? Tamara. In the morning, drink water, open a window, and breathe some fresh air.
Love it.
Yes.
Last thing I do in the morning, first thing I do in the morning is drink water, and last thing I do is before I go to bed.
I drink water, but it's a little brown in every morning.
Coffee.
Yeah. So Adrian in our team, he says, drink water, guys, all the time, right? All right. So the next one. What is the next pro tip that we have? Power tip number 4: gain perspective. So gain perspective is you can't dwell on what you know by experience, right? So sometimes we have paradigms, right? We are stuck on something, and this is the way we do it. And the key is to be able to get out of our little comfortable box and be able to learn from others. So your team and your colleagues, your friends, things that you read, and gain other perspectives on different things in life, right? Sometimes people are like, nope, this is the way we do it, and that's it. That doesn't work, man.
I don't think you can grow that way. You need to grow through you gain perspective through, again, communication, understanding, learning from each other, and then you gain perspective as an individual and as a group or as a company, and then you can move forward. I think it's really important.
Yeah, life is a learning experience, right? So it's very important to have
can't be closed-minded.
Different perspectives. So what's the next one? Number 5. Create an executable plan. And this goes along with what Oscar was saying,
exactly.
To have that end goal in mind when you start doing things, because you're in for the long haul, right? So you have to create a plan. If you don't create a plan, you plan to fail, as you say, Andrew, right? So and this is especially true for a manager, a coach, like somebody with a leadership position. If you just think out of or you live out of the seam of your pants, then it's not going to work for you. You can't make day-to-day decisions and expect to be able to be successful. You have to step back a little bit and say, you know what, let's plan that in 3 months we're going to accomplish this, in 6 months we're going to accomplish this other thing, and then you work on those little tiny tasks every day
to get you the big picture. 100%.
Yeah. What's the next one? Yes, guilty as charged. I multitask a lot, and sometimes uh, I suck, man. I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at this because, and I know that this is one of my deficiencies. People are talking to me like we have this video calls, and then you're literally talking to me, and I'm like staring at the screen on the side and going, "Yeah, okay, okay," and that probably drives people nuts. It
And then you bring
doesn't.
up the same question 2 minutes later, and we're like, we just talked about that, Dan.
Yes. So I have myself. I have to learn to not multitasking, to focus on what people are saying. Absolutely. And but delegation is really important, right? Delegation is key. You can't take on so much work that you're not going to be able to be yourself.
And that's so true. I've always used the analogy, I never want anybody on our team to be overwhelmed, but I want everybody. I have no problem if people are busy, because when you're busy, you're growing, you're learning, etc. And if you need to delegate to make yourself busy and not overwhelmed, you should be doing that. And then, less multitasking. I think prioritization. When you start a day off and you have 10 tasks, do a task, finish it, do a task. But if you try and work on all 10 tasks at the same time, you'll never accomplish it in the end of the day. You'll have maybe 1 or 2 tasks done versus 8 or 9 potentially. So I think
Yes.
I think it's a great analogy, Dan. I think
Yes,
it's a great
absolutely.
thing.
We have another comment from Oscar Guzman in there. Gladstone, if you can put it on the screen. Yeah, he says, power tip number 4: it's hard to pivot and shift. And when leading others, you have to be self-aware of when you are being resistant to change. Learning to be adaptable is not as easy as it seems. Interesting. You have to be aware when you're being resistant to change. So it's not just about like about having that resistance, those paradigms in your head, but be self-aware that you do have them and you need to do something about them, right?
Yeah.
So that self-awareness, very important. Very good, Oscar. You're a wise man. Thanks for sharing with us. What is the next pro tip? Redefine work-life balance. Yeah, very very important. I mean, you take work after your day is done, and it I do that a lot, man. I do that a lot. And then, unfortunately, there's things that we need to do, that we need, as leaders of the organization, we have to be in constant lookout for our clients, especially in our cybersecurity business, right? So it is hard to be able to redefine, at least for myself, work and life, right? So the key is to be able to hold on 1 second. It's be able to do the things that you need to do at work, and then have yourself time to be able to do all the other things with your family, with yourself. Go out, do things, and just completely disconnect from work, right? And I think we have one more tip. It's 8 tips, not 7. So put it online, Gladstone, and we only have 2 minutes to go. Become a continuous learner.
Yeah, you should. This show, I mean, I learn from this show every Friday. Every single Friday, I learn from our studying beforehand, learning, understanding our audience, people's tips. You, Dan, I learn constantly from this show, and I'm grateful for that, actually.
Yes. Yeah, and it's interesting that you say, because you know what? This show is almost 2 years old now. Can
Crazy,
you
right?
freaking believe it? We've been on the air for almost 2 years. And every time, every show on Friday, because we have to discuss a subject, it forces us to research, to look at YouTube videos, to do kind of like, like we can't just talk out of our whatever we think. We need to do the actual research, right? Or we can just stand there, like pretty faces on the screen, and then nothing to talk about, right? So it forces us to learn, which is great. I love this. I love the fact that we actually need to research on resilience and things that we are actually telling you.
And that's a platform, right? That's our platform to learn. You can create
Yeah.
your own platform. It doesn't have to be a YouTube channel. It could be every Wednesday from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock. You decide to read a book, or you decide to
Yes.
watch 20 YouTube videos, do a motivation, whatever it is. Implement a platform for you to continue to be learning from. I think it's really important. There's no question.
Yes. Big pet peeve, says Tamara. Under every circumstance, especially as a leader at home, at work, or whatever, drop the phone or computer, look at people in the eyes, and listen.
I love that. I mean, we're in a technical world, so we need to be dialed in. There's no question, but nowhere near as much as we are. It's actually sad. It's actually sad when you go to a restaurant and you say to everybody's
Guilty.
looking at their, yeah, it's crazy. I agree,
Guilty
Tamara.
as charged, Tamara. Thank you for that great
You know what? You know what's sad
recommendation.
about that though? Everybody knows it. Everybody identifies it. Everybody relates to it. Everybody says, "Look at what's going on," and we all freaking still do it.
Nobody does it.
It's crazy. Like,
All right, 1 o'clock. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating in this show. We hope that you had fun. Next Friday, 12 o'clock. Don't miss it. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And I hope to see you there or be square. So thank you so much, everybody, for participating in our show.
see everybody. Great to see you all. Thanks for your insight and your comments. Really appreciate it.